I was just wondering, do you actually wash your What the Wait, what? This is wild. Welcome back. It's another Wildcard Wednesday. I am your host, Kori Blonde, and you are listening to the Girl Math Podcast. Every Wednesday, you can send in your dilemmas, issues, or any advice you want me to give. And this week, the theme is exposing your ex. I know for the most part, we all have stories because men are just another breed, I swear to God. Or women, depends what way you swing. But I have asked you guys to send in some of your dilemmas, advice that you need from me. Let's start off with this one. Are you going? Okay, Polo doesn't want to be in it anymore. My ex says that he cares and has a lot of respect, but broke up with me out of nowhere. 2 weeks later, the girl is posting multiple photos of them together, tells me on the 15th of June that they are seeing each other, and then he asks her to be his girlfriend on our anniversary date, the 3rd of July. There are men out there, and I think I know who this person is, and I think you were with them for a while, if I'm not mistaken. Like, I'm talking years. What's scary about men is that they can switch up out of nowhere. When men dump their former girlfriend of 2 to 5 years, however long, for another woman that they've met for 2 days, you hear the stories about getting married after 2 days and then having a girlfriend for years and years and years. Genuinely, I think it's something inside of them that they're lacking and they're trying to seek, because that new woman gives what the guy wanted, but it's only like a fraction of what you were giving. But by the time he's realized it's too late, he's 2 knees deep into this woman. God, I sound really harsh, but it just sounds like he doesn't know what he has, because at the end of the day, you can give absolutely everything and you can be the full package. You can genuinely be the full package. But to him, he probably wants one thing that you're not giving him and found this one thing in this one woman and thought, this woman is perfect. She's giving me everything and that I've always wanted. Like, that could very well be the case for a lot of men until they realize. And that's why men always come back, because they think, damn, like, this isn't all it was made out to be. You just have to have your head held high and be like, no, I am the full package for someone else. Men out there try and fill voids. Like women do, but, you know, people do fill voids. And the fact that he asked her to be his girlfriend on your anniversary date is wild. And I often think, is that a coincidence, or is he genuinely doing that because he's a psychopath? Do you know what I mean? Like, that is just weird to me. Who's to say he hasn't done that before? Like, I don't know. There's just so many things. Like, is this just what men do? And I am one to believe that this doesn't just come out of thin air for women. For men, I often think that it builds up over time, and then there's this one situation where they just completely just snap and just be like, yeah, don't love you anymore, don't want to be with you. Men act very spontaneously. They kind of just do it without themselves even realizing they're about to do it until it's done. You know how they say women break up with men mentally like months before men do? I don't think that's necessarily always the case with men. Sometimes it may be, but I do think it might be in the back of their head for a while, but for the most part, they'll make a sporadic decision and be like, yeah, I don't want to be with you anymore because of this one situation. There might be a lot of like pent up guilt on his side, maybe. Who's to say he hasn't done that before? Like, I don't know. There's just so many things. Like, is this just what men do? Like, they are manipulative, and so are women, but men are manipulative for the most part. And that, to me, would be too much of a disrespect for me to ever go back there, ever in a million years. So if you're thinking of going back to this man, do not. Don't go there. Don't do it. If he comes crawling back, be strong. Just be strong and don't do it. Move on with your life, because you deserve someone that's going to treat you like the full package and will never leave your side. This is about my sexuality. I've been with a guy for the past 2 years and I think I'm bi. We have talked about sexuality together before and I always denied I like girls, and he said he is straight, but I feel like there is pressure to tell him ... Now, I don't really have a leg to stand on because I've never tried it with women. Really. Realistic. Not really. I mean, kind of, not really. Do you know what I mean? I feel like we've all kissed a girl and stuff like that. No? Is it just me? No, it can't just be me. I feel like that's normal, right? Anyway, from this message, it kind of sounds like you already sort of know. Maybe you're a bit bi-curious. Maybe you want to test the waters a bit. Maybe you've already tried and you're just deciding to swing the other way maybe, and you're just scared to tell him. Or like, I think it's okay to find women attractive. Because I'm in a relationship and I openly say to my boyfriend, like, I think I'm attracted to this woman. And he's like, Kori, I mean, that's more fun for me. But there's some women that I'm like, I genuinely think I would go there with you. And does that make me bi? Maybe. But listen, this is about you. I think it just hit a bit too close to home because I've had this conversation with my boyfriend. This is what I will say. I've had this conversation with my boyfriend about, am I bi? Like, generally, am I lesbian? I wouldn't go as far as I'm lesbian because I think I like, you know, yeah. I'm a bit awkward when it comes to sexual talk, but, you know, I think I'm straight for the most part. But maybe it's worth just having a conversation. Maybe it's not even worth having a conversation. If you don't think, you know, you're going to go out there and try it on with girls, then maybe just leave it. But if it's eating you up inside every day and you feel like, damn, I really should tell him, or maybe you feel guilty, or maybe you just don't want to be with the man anymore. Maybe you just want to try it with a woman and just have an open conversation with him and just say, hey, look, I might be bi. I have had a few friends in the past where they have been bi and they've had boyfriends and their boyfriends know they're bi, or they've told their boyfriends, and it's been absolutely fine. Like, obviously there's men like my boyfriend where they joke about, oh, more fun for me, like, but you've just got to stick true to yourself at the end of the day. That's the one biggest piece of advice I could give you, is there's no point in being in a relationship if the person you're with can't accept you for you. And sometimes you just have to tell them how you're feeling, you know, and just lay it out on the table and just hope for the best. Because at the end of the day, if you've stuck true to who you are, then you're never going to regret that. I mean, it's different, I guess, if you're not 100% confident if you're bi or not, but you never know until you try. I feel like you never know until you try, or you could just be bi-curious. I don't know. I feel like I don't know too much on this topic, but I've kind of been in your situation before where I've thought about it a lot, but then I just kind of bit the bullet and just was like to my boyfriend, like, I might actually be bi, like dead ass. And he's like, I'm not actually surprised. You're just like a lesbian all the time. I mean, sometimes I feel like I look like a lesbian, and I've told this to my sister, who is also lesbian. She's married to a woman. And like, my sister always says, yeah, Kori, you can easily pass as a lesbian. I'm like, oh, maybe. Like, have I just been like pushing this down my whole life? But no, like, I genuinely dead ass, like, I love my boyfriend and I want to be with him. So yeah, but I think sometimes I get a bit like, ooh, women, but I don't know. Anyways, moving on. I'm just getting out of a relationship with a drug addict. When I first got with my ex, I knew he had experimented with drugs, but I didn't know he had issues. A few years later, I was taking care of him every night as he was off his face. During the split, he tried to convince me that he was solving his problems, and I feel like it was a short-lived fairy tale. I have attempted to say no, find therapists, etc., but he is not interested, even if it impacts our communication and sex life. It impacted my mental health so much that I ended the relationship. However, I feel so guilty, like I have abandoned him. Have I made a mistake? Should I have stuck with him? I still talk to him and help him out with his issues, but I don't know if it's enough. I'd like to seek some advice or affirmation, please. Now, from this, I gather that you're not with him anymore, but you're still in communication because obviously you love him, you care for him, you want to help. Obviously, you never want to see anyone struggle, especially the people that you've loved or love or care for, or that have been in your life. Of course, you should want to help. It's a part of human nature and a part of caring for someone. However, you have to see, I cannot help someone that does not want to be helped. You are always priority. It does not matter who it is. You are always number one. And take that from me, because I have never publicly ever spoken about this. But I have had an experience was similar to this, and it almost costed my life. It almost costed my life. And what I want to tell you is I don't know what, it doesn't matter. It does not matter what type of drug it is, what kind of alcohol it is. If someone is addicted to something and it's not you, it can end very badly. It can end very badly. Even addiction in general, or maybe even addicted to you, I don't know. That's another story. But if you look at addiction as a whole, it's not something that you would want to get involved with because you want to be with someone that has already worked on themselves and that is already there. You want someone to meet you where you're at because that is only going to drag you down. And I know that sounds really selfish and really harsh, but I didn't listen to my friends. I didn't listen to my family for so long. And I was in your boat and it almost costed me my life. God forbid anything happened, I'd feel like it's my own fault for not trying or knowing that they were suffering and I didn't help. However, I have this deep pit in my stomach and I have a lot of trauma from that I'm like, I don't know if it was worth it. I don't know if it was worth sticking it out for so long. I don't know if it was worth trying to help for so long for someone that didn't want to be helped. And I've heard that still to this day, this is why I'm so glad I got out when I did. Because still to this day, I have had people come up to me or message me and say, hey, I've heard about your story about this X, Y, and Z person. They're doing it again to other women. But anyway, that's a completely different story. And I kind of went off topic there. But you basically want to disconnect and get out as soon as you can. Because if they have family, if they have friends, they'll be just fine. They'll be just fine. It's not your responsibility. It really isn't. And you're too young. You're too young to be looking after someone that can't look after themselves. It really breaks my heart because it's just such a hard thing to go through. And I want to talk on this more. I really, really do. I don't know if I'm ready. And for me, it's been years. It's been literal years. But you also have to look at it as, you know, is this person escaping from something much deeper? Is it something that's going to affect if I have children with this guy? You know, I don't know if you guys ever date to just date or date to marry, but I'm the person that dates to marry. Now my frontal lobe is almost developed. I now look at it as like, okay, the qualities of this man, is he addicted to something? Yes or no? Is that going to affect our children down the line? You have to look at it as, is it going to affect my future family? Do I even want a family with this guy? If the answer is no, then, you know, it's not your responsibility. You can be there for him as a friend, but my biggest suggestion would be to just cut it off. And I know that's so hard, but they will be okay as long as they have, you know, at least one friend or family, or maybe they'll just decide to fix up on their own at their own accord, at their own time. You can't ever force someone to help themselves if they don't want to be helped. They have to get to a point, unfortunately, where something will happen or something almost might happen and then they will sort it out. You know, you can't be the person to help them. And I know that's hard to hear, but trust me, I've tried to help people. I've been that person and it's just not worth it. It really isn't. I hope you got some good advice from that, kind of. The next one. My ex sent me photos of mismatched underwear and said, hey, did you leave these here? I said, no, you know I only wear Calvin Klein. I later learned each piece belonged to a different girl. A different girl. Wait, what? This is wild. It was an on and off relationship. Oh, okay. Wait, no, that doesn't make it okay though. So we may not have been technically together, but I mean, still. Oh my God. I mean, the audacity to leave underwear. Now, the thing is about on and off relationships is like, if you're single, you're single. That's just the way it is. If he has each relationship is different. Each relationship is different. So I don't know your relationship and I don't know how on and off it is. Like if it's like 1 week you're together and 1 week you're not, like that, I feel like a week is different. If it's months to years or whatever, then fine. Like if you're single, you're single. But if it's like in the space of weeks, I don't know. But mismatched underwear that has different women is crazy. Once I found a lip gloss that wasn't mine. Like I was the type of person that would get Superdrug lip gloss and there was a Dior lip gloss in his drawer. oh, well, yeah, you know, like it was yours. It's yours. It's yours. You don't know what you're on about. Is it gaslighting me that it's mine? I'm like, I don't shop at Dior. I shop at Superdrug. Does it look like I invest money into myself? No. I have no advice for that, but just to get out. I'm so sorry that you're going through that. The last one, this person sent me an 8-part story. Okay. About 5 years ago, I had been with my ex for about a year and a half. I was taking him out to a new restaurant. Okay, firstly, why are you taking him out to a restaurant? I mean, I know it's 2024. Women should be taking men out to restaurants if they want to, if they have the money. But also, it's 2024. Why can't men take you out? Realistically. Anyway, I mean, I know you probably do it because you love him or you care or whatever. I was taking him out to a new restaurant near his house. Oh, wait, I didn't read the rest of it. It said to celebrate his birthday. Okay, makes sense. I'm so sorry. Which was expensive to book. And there was a dress code. I booked the table for 1:30 p.m. The time I was at college was also down the road from where he had lived as well. So everything was in walking distance for the both of us. I warned him well in advance of the booking time and the dress code. And we were to meet at the restaurant for 1:15 so that I could take photos, etc. Okay, this is what I mean. Like, you need to take photos when you go to a fancy restaurant. That is just rule number 101, even just a restaurant in general. Do you hear what I'm saying? Even if it's a McDonald's, I gotta take photos of my fries. We sat down for the meal and all was going well until we had just finished our mains and we were waiting for our dessert to come out. I forgot to add he turned up in a full night tracksuit and trainers. And when I asked him if he remembered the dress code, he said, yeah, this is just a nice outfit. Luckily, the restaurant wasn't too busy, so they let us in. But they were giving us such horrible looks the whole entire time. Anyway, all was going well until the desserts, where suddenly he went silent and started messaging someone on his phone. Oh my God. The disrespect, first of all, for not dressing accordingly. Second of all, for texting on the table. Third of all, for messaging someone else. Like, God knows who that someone else is. We'll get into that. He then looked up at me and with his whole chest and loud enough for the couple next to us to hear, I was just wondering, do you actually wash your What the I was so shocked by him saying this because I had always extremely good personal hygiene. And when things would get intimate between us, I would always go to the bathroom and the shower and everything. Okay, you don't need to explain yourself. We know. We can gather. He's just a flipping asshole right now. You know what? It's actually so sad that we as women have to clarify. Like, I am hygienic. Like, I am hygiene. Like, do you know what I mean? We can clearly see this guy as a dickhead. I was so embarrassed that he had said this to me, not only in public, but in a really posh restaurant and with earshot of other people. I quickly moved the topic on and asked him why he had said such a thing when we left the restaurant. And he completely ignored me and avoided the question the whole entire time. I then checked his phone when we were back at the flat to see who he had messaged. I found out from the group chat on his Snapchat with about 15 girls and 6 boys who had been daring him to ask me questions about it and laughing. I felt horrified as I knew none of these people and Wait. 15 girls and 6 boys, you're having a laugh. This guy is a literal kid. I felt like, first of all, he has Snapchat. Oh my God, I don't know. At his big age, I don't know. I felt horrified as I knew none of these people had no idea that this had been happening amongst so many other messages about everyone's sex life. I never confronted him about any of this. And we broke up a few months later. But what would you have done in this situation? Okay, first and foremost, I would have just left the situation. I'm one of them runners. I would just run. I would just get up and leave. So that's what I would have done. And then I would have gone to his house. I probably would have bought a pack of salmon and just left it in his bed. You were trying to do a nice thing. That's what annoys me. Like, you were trying to do the nice thing and take him out. And he just decided to be immature about it. And it seemed like he was ungrateful about it. And he came up in a night tracksuit. Who are you? Central C? Come on. This sounds like a Madeline in the Central C, is she? Where she is just like gorgeous, stunning. I'm going to stop bigging her up now. Gorgeous woman dating this bum of a guy that won't even try on his own birthday. I mean, obviously it's your own birthday, wear what you want, but if you're going to a nice restaurant and your girlfriend's taking you out at the time and spending money on you and putting effort in, like, the least you could do is put some more effort into it. You know, I am all one for tracksuits. I wear them everywhere. I'm a big hypocrite for that. If I could wear something at a fancy restaurant that was trackies, I would. But I choose not to half the time. Like maybe I'll just wear like jeans and a nice top. But that's me trying. Do you know what I mean? And if he wasn't trying and he was texting, like he just wasn't ready for a relationship. Like it's just so clear. So I'm so sorry you had to go through that. Men are traumatic. They actually bring a lot of trauma to us a lot of the time. And men may say the same thing about women, but you know what? No, I'm sorry. Men are just as confusing as women. So yeah, do I have any story times I could end this off with? I mean, I have a huge story time, but I'm not ready to put that out in the world. You know, don't fuck with a girl that has a podcast. That is all I will say. Case study would be Brooke Schofield. I feel exhausted just reading all of this because men are exhausting. They actually tire you out. So I hope I gave somewhat good advice. I don't know if I even gave good advice, but you know, I gave my 2 cents. So yeah, thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Wildcard Wednesday. I will see you for another Wildcard Wednesday next week. Send in your dilemmas. I will put up the theme at Girl Math Pod on Instagram. And I will see you on Self-Care Sunday, this Sunday, where we'll talk about deeper level things. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Love you lots. Goodbye.